Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
So first of all, the name of the chapter is third chapter, no? Third chapter, atoms and what? Molecules. Atoms and molecules, right? So here on that day itself I have started the chapter, right? So on that day I have told you what are the topics we need to read in this chapter and how we have to proceed in this chapter, right? So basically, according to me, I am dividing the whole chapter into 3 parts. Okay, let me tell you what are those 3 parts. First of all, we have to talk about the not writing properly, why? Concepts, okay. First of all, we have to know the basic concepts in this chapter. So what are these basic concepts? Concepts means the general definitions, okay, about atoms and molecules. The terms like what is atom, what is molecule, what is ion, then what is element, what is compound, then we have what is valency, what is valence electrons. We have so many concepts in this chapter, right? Then what is mole. So all those definitions we will deal in the conceptual part of this chapter. Clear? Or you can say the definition of some basic terms. Clear? After that we have to move on to some laws, okay? Laws of chemical combination, okay. So if you look into your book, then you will find that at the very beginning itself the laws have been given to you in your book, right? And basically in your book we have how many laws? Only 2 laws, right? Law of conservation of mass and law of definite proportion or law of constant proportion, right? So here we have to deal with the basic laws of chemical combination. So these 2 laws are law of what? Conservation of mass, then law of constant proportion or definite proportion also we can say. Okay, this law has another name, constant proportion or definite proportion. So basically we will deal with the 2 laws, that is law of conservation of what? Mass. Law of conservation of mass, first law. Then second law which we have to deal with is the which one? Law of, tell me, law of definite proportion, or you can say in case of definite also you may get constant proportion. What is given in your book? Constant or definite? Constant, right? So both are same, don't get confused, okay? If it is constant also, same only, definite also, same only. Clear? So for class 9 syllabus you have to read basically these 2 laws, but if you move further to your higher course, that is for class 11 when you reach, you will get 5 laws. I told about this? Yes? So in class 11 when you will read the same things again, you will have to read 5 laws. Okay? After that, in the last part of this chapter, I will deal about the most important topic of this chapter, that is the mole concept. Okay, it is very hard actually for class 9 students. In your entire chemistry book the hardest topic is this one only. I don't know whether you agree or not, but I agree with this fact, because this one is a fact, this one is a topic which is very much confusing, not only for the 9th students but 11th students also, because the same things which you are getting here, all these things are there in class 11 also, in chemistry book, same thing is there. But the thing happens is that in class 9 we don't read it properly, so in class 11 we feel very much difficulty in reading this thing again. So if your concept gets clear from class 9 itself, it will be better if you take science stream chemistry subject in your class 11. Okay. So is it clear to all of you? Now what we have to read in the mole concept, inside mole concept. Okay. So basically inside mole concepts we have to first of all deal with some obviously concepts, right? Concepts related to what? Mole. Like what is mole, then what is molecular mass, then what is atomic mass, then what is the formula to find number of moles, right? What is Avogadro number? Are you all getting my point? Avogadro number, number of moles, molecular mass, formula mass, then atomic mass unit. We have so many things inside it. So all those concepts we will read inside the mole concept. Clear all of you? Are you facing any problem up to here? What we have to read in the entire chapter? Okay. So first thing is the basic concepts related to the mole concept. Okay. Second thing which we have to read is the numericals. But before numericals we have to get some what? Formula. Because if you want to solve some numericals, then you definitely need some formula, or not? Like in mathematics also, if you want to solve some problem, you need some formula, mathematical formula. So after dealing with the concepts, we will go on to the formula part of mole concept. Clear? And after that finally we will do what? We will practice some questions. Now what questions? Related to mole concepts, related to the formula which we read for mole concept. Is it clear to all of you? Is it all clear to all of you what we have to read in the entire chapter? Just a basic introduction part of this chapter. Clear all of you? So first of all I will move on to the conceptual part of this chapter, then later on to the laws of chemical combination, then finally to the mole concept. Clear? Okay. So today I will discuss basic concepts related to this chapter, atoms and molecules. Clear? Now coming to the start of this, beginning of this chapter, we have to see the name itself. What is the name? Atoms and come on, reply. Have you not taken your food or what? Are you not feeling energetic? Very lazy all you people are. Try to be active. So what is the name of this chapter? It's written only, you have to see and tell, no? Atoms and molecules, right? So in order to go into the depth of this chapter, we should first of all know what does these things mean. Atom, molecule, what are these things? What is the meaning of this basic chapter only? The name of this chapter, what does it mean? We should get into those concepts. Clear? But before going to these topics, I would like to ask you, what are the things which we read in our previous chapters? Chapter 1 and chapter 2? About what thing we read? Elements, compounds, all about matter, I think. If I want to say all the things in just one word, then it is matter. Obviously we read about matter, right? Can I say like that? First chapter was also based on matter, second one is also based on matter only. Yes or no? So the basic thing which we have previously is the Why is this chalk not writing? Is the matter, right? The basic thing which we already know is matter. So what is matter? Can anyone tell me what is matter? From the chapter 1 and chapter 2 itself you already know, na? What is matter? Exactly. Matter is something that occupies some space and also have some mass in it, right? So matter is just some substances which have two things, mass and which occupy some space. Dual characters of matter. I already gave you, no? Dual character of matter is occupying space and having mass, right? Now, since matter is having mass and it occupies some space, that means it is particularly a substance. Can I call matter as a substance? Can I call it? Because it is occupying some space and having some mass, so it is definitely a substance, right? And all the substances are made up of some particles. Do you agree? All the substances are made up of some particles. And even in the characteristics of matter in the first chapter itself, I think, you got that matter is made up of particles. You got something like that or not? All of you got, na? So I can say that matter is having what? Particles inside it, I can say. And definitely the particles are very large in number. So many particles are there. Not only single particles, so many particles are there. Yes or no? Suppose if I have one wooden block like this. Suppose I have a wooden block like this. Definitely it will have some what? Particles inside it. Suppose I am considering one particle here. This particle I am considering. Okay? If I want to further break that particle, suppose by some method if I am going to break that particle further into some pieces, then I will reach up to a stage where no further division will take place for that particle. You are understanding? So the stage will be reached when even after trying to break that particle into subatomic particles or some further smaller particles, I will not be able to divide it. So that stage of particle is nothing but this one. What? Atoms. Clear? That means I can say that atom is the smallest particle of matter. Can I say? Can I say like that? Atom is the smallest entity or smallest particle which is indestructible, which cannot be destroyed further into smaller parts, which is the smallest particle, smallest entity of matter. I can say like that. You are able to understand or not? All of you are understanding? Okay. So that means we reached up to a part which is actually very in depth inside matter, right? We are going into the depth of matter. All of you are understanding now? That means in this chapter we have to deal with the in depth, the atoms, the particles, the molecules of the matter. Clear all of you? So finally what we can call atom as, that atom is the what we can call? Atom is the smallest unit of matter. Can we call it? Atom is the smallest unit of matter, right? Second thing what we can call is, it is the what? Indestructible part of matter. Can I call like that? Because we tried on destroying the matter into some smaller pieces, but ultimately we reached up to a point when there is no further destruction, when there is no further division of that particular substance, and that stage we are calling as atom, right? So we can call atom as what? Indestructible part also, indestructible part of matter also. Can we all say that? So that means here we got two characteristics for atom. So by combining these two properties, we can say the definition of atom as atom is the smallest part of matter which is indestructible. Can I call like that? Can I say it like that? And further, one more thing is there. If you keep on going inside and inside, the atoms are actually not visible to our naked eye also. We cannot see the atoms. Can we see? No. It is very difficult for us to see the atoms, right? So one more character we have got is that what? It is invisible with our naked eye, right? So these are the characteristics of atoms. Is it all clear to all of you? Now coming to the further characteristics of atom, one question arises in our mind. Now we know that a substance is made up of particle, right? A substance which is matter is having some particles inside it. So does atom also have some particle inside it? It can happen, na? If this is having some particles inside it, then atom must also have some particle inside it, or it does not have. Like that one question appears in our mind, na? So if we talk about that point, then I can say that atom is also having some particles inside it, okay, like electrons, protons and neutrons. Have you heard about electron, proton and neutron? All of you have heard? So these are known as the subatomic particle. Why subatomic particle? Because it is inside the atom, right? So if I go further inside atom, then what I can say is that inside atom I have what? Three things. The electrons, right? Then protons and the neutrons. I can say now. So electrons, protons and neutrons are the three subatomic particles present inside one atom. All of you are able to understand or not? So if you see this flow chart, you will definitely know that we are going in depth inside the particles of matter. Previously in our first chapter and second chapter, we only dealt with the physical state of matter, that is solid, liquid, gas, then only the physical part. We were not going into the inside of the matter, right? But now in this chapter we are going further inside means subatomic particles. Up to that level we are moving. Clear all of you? Up to here all of you are clear or not? Come on, reply. No? Yes? Okay. So if it is yes, then can I rub this part and move further? Okay. So first thing that you all can write in your notebook is what? So write down the first question in your notebook. The question is what? What is atom? What is atom? Right? So now all of you know what is atom. Three things we got about atom now. What are those three things? It is the smallest unit of all matter, then it is indestructible, it is not visible to our naked eye. Fourth point, it is composed of electrons, protons and neutrons. So this much is enough for you for class 9, right? So write, an atom is the smallest unit of matter. An atom is the smallest unit of matter which is not visible to our naked eye, which is not visible to our naked eye, which is not visible to our naked eye, comma, which is indestructible, and which is made up of what? 3 subatomic particles, which is made up of 3 subatomic particles. So what is subatomic? Like this, subatomic, 3 subatomic particles, that is what? Electrons, comma, protons and neutrons. Electrons, protons and neutrons. Done everyone? All of you have written the definition? Okay. Now let us deal something about the subatomic particles. Okay. Now we all know that we have the atom. Inside the atom we have what? We have the 3 subatomic particles, right? So these are the electrons, then protons and, tell me, neutrons. Now in this electron, proton and neutron, we have to see certain characteristics. Okay, we already know these are inside atom, but how are they different from each other? We should know the distinguishing character also. Okay, so if I go for first of all inside electrons, then electrons are the negative charges or negatively charged bodies which are present inside an atom. So that means these are negatively charged. Okay, they have a negative charge. But if I go on for proton, then it is having the entirely different property from the previous one. That means it is having a positive charge. So these particles are positively charged particles. Clear? And neutrons, they have no charge in them. That is why they are neutral in character and they are known as neutron. Okay, so they have what? No charge in them, or neutral also we can say. They are neutral. Okay, neutrally charged, neutrally charged, no charge, all these are same only. Whatever you want to use, you can use. Clear all of you? First point of difference, all of you are clear? Now second thing is that if it is negatively charged and if it is positively charged, then what is the magnitude of that charge? What is the value of that charge? Okay, so the value of this charge is minus 1.6 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. C refers to coulomb, unit of charge. Okay, like you know na, we write centimeter as cm, meter as m, kilometer as km, like that only coulomb as C, capital C. Clear all of you? Now since this and this are both opposite of each other, here also these two are opposite. So here we have the plus charge of how much? 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. The same charge is there, but it is positive in magnitude. Sign is positive. Clear all of you? And since this is having no charge in it, so here it will be blank, nothing. No charge is there, no? So no magnitude. Clear all of you? If there is no charge at all, then it will have no magnitude. Clear? So these are the 2 points of difference. Third point is that since these are particles and every particle has some mass of it, right? Every particle have some mass, because we know, we have already discussed about matter, no? Matter is anything which has mass and occupies some space. Mass is there. So since this is a part of matter, it should have mass of it, right? It should have some mass. So if I go on for the mass, then its mass is how much? Electron 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. This is the mass of one electron. But if I convert it into gram, it will be 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram. Okay. So you can say minus 28 gram also, minus 31 kg also. Most commonly used unit is kg. So I have written in terms of kg. Clear all of you? Protons have a mass of how much? Do you know? What is the mass of proton? Anyone knows the mass of proton? No. So it is 1.67 multiplied by 10 raised to the power how much? 28 or 27. I think 27. This much. 1.67 into 10 raised to the power 27 kg. And mass of proton is almost similar to, approximately equal to the mass of neutron. Both of them are same only. The only difference is there in the other units. That means it is not actually 1.67 only, it is 1.67 and further 5-6 digits are also there. Okay, 0, 2, 1, 2 like that. Okay. So in those digits only the mass of neutron and mass of proton are different. But up to 2 units if we see, after the decimal if we go on for only 2 units, both of them are approximately same, we can say. So it also has a mass of 1.67 multiplied by raised to the power 10 to the power 27 kg. Clear all of you? So this is the mass of neutron. Is it clear to all of you? So if you want, all of you can write this in your notebook. Write all these things in your notebook, all of you. Now see, we have the electron, we have the proton, we have the neutron inside one atom. But now if they are inside the atom, then where are they located? Right? Location also we should know. If an atom is having electron, proton and neutron inside it, then where are these things located? Right? So if I talk about an atom is generally having one central part which is known as the nucleus. Okay? An atom is having a central part inside it which is known as the nucleus, and this nucleus is having the protons and the neutrons inside it. Okay? And generally atom is circular in shape. So if I have to draw the structure, then it will be somewhat like this. Suppose this is the nucleus, it has the, we can write proton as small p and neutron as small n, symbol for proton and neutron. So I can say that proton and neutron, these are present inside the nucleus. This part is the nucleus of an atom, and outside the nucleus we have some definite path. Like you know na, in solar system, you know na, sun is the central part of that solar system, and outside the sun so many planets are revolving around it, right? If you consider the sun as the nucleus, then the planets which you are observing, which are revolving around the sun, are the electrons. Okay? Just like that you can remember. So this is the electron. So this is the entire structure of an atom. So this is one atom. Clear all of you? So an atom is having a centrally located nucleus in it, which have proton and neutron inside it, and the electrons are revolving around it in some definite path known as the orbits. Clear all of you? This path where these electrons are revolving, see this is moving like this, always it is revolving like this, moving, okay. So this path where the electron is moving always, this path is known as the, what we say, orbit. Clear all of you? So this is the location of electron, proton and neutron in one atom. Clear? Okay, so I think time is over. I will take the other things in my next class. Okay.
We'll be right back.